Value Chain Development Program VCDP is a project by the Government of Nigeria and the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, domiciled in the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. The program is implemented in Anambra, Benue, Ebonyi, Niger, Ogun and Taraba states with an objective to reduce rural poverty, increase food security and incomes of poor rural households engaged in production, processing and marketing of rice and cassava on a sustainable basis. The livelihood of smallholder farmers has been constrained by low productivity, paucity of opportunities for value addition, limited access to agro inputs, inadequate extension support services, limited access to rural financial services, inadequate market and rural infrastructure, and lots more. Value chain is the approach adopted by the VCDP to enhance productivity, promote agro-processing, access to markets and opportunities, and facilitate engagement of the private sector, farmers' organization in the development process. Between 2015 and 2017, about 52,515 farmers in over 3,451 farmer groups are benefiting from the project interventions.
We've been on the field for over 2 years now. In terms of support to farmers, we've supported 35,000 of them in the production of rice across the 6 states, and the balance for cassava.
In fact, IFAD has done a lot for us. They have changed our farming experience. We were doing it as a culture, but now as a business.
We went on what is called sensitization and mobilization visit in all the local government areas. Senior government officials were part of the team that went round to inform the beneficiaries as to the implementation guidelines. These farmers are trained and guided to produce what is called a business plan.
I have been a farmer for over 30 years doing nothing. But if I'd come made us, we just they move. Then they train us.
We normally plant rice here. And before the rice will mature, the flood will just swallow it. But with the experience we got from IFAD, so the land is now useful for us. Now we can plant and harvest without any flood.
Before, we don't test our soil before we start our planting. We only go to the farm and we plant. We have been taught to do soil testing before we plant.
We're also doing a lot of strengthening for our farmers' organizations. As the season is approaching, we do pre-season trainings for them, tell them the best agronomic practices that they are going to apply, follow up with them. We also do a lot of exchanges. Some of the farmers have been taken out to go to other states to see what the best practices. The impact was tremendous.
One of the things that we have been doing has been to provide best agronomic practices and training and capacity building to farmers, so that farmers will be encouraged to adopt the technologies we are pushing to them.
One of the good agronomic practices for rice farming is a transplanting method. In the past, farmers would plant their rice seeds using the broadcasting method. For Chukwu Osondu, this was the only practice he knew about.
Initially, this is what we have been doing before the intervention of IFAD VCDP. The only thing that got me much interested in rice production is that we discovered transplanting of a thing is better than casting.
That time we were using broadcasting. We are getting 4 tons. But since IFAD intervened, training us, we start getting 7 tons per hectare.
Before we came in, the average yield of farmers in a hectare of rice was about 2.5 metric tons. Today, the average yield has gone to about 4.5 metric tons.
VCDP is also training young farmers on rice seed production as well as cassava stem multiplication as an agribusiness enterprise.
We selected about 20 youths. We sent 5 to IITA, where they were trained for 52 days in the practice of rice seed production. And after that, they graduated. We supported them with a seed. We're also going to support them with land preparation and other inputs to create business entrepreneurs.
If you notice, the future of agriculture in Nigeria is in the hands of the youths. So VCDP, noticing that, is putting emphasis on this age bracket of the younger ones because they produce the successful generation for the aged population.
I was selected from Ochocha Youth Rice Cassava Cooperative. We spent almost about 51 days on the training. So after we came back, we went back on this, on irrigation farming, on seed production.
Before, we don't know anything about it, even the foundation seed or certified seed. We're just using grain. After we cultivate, we use it again to cultivate back again. So it's just giving us 2 to 3 tons or 2.5 tons. But now we are getting up to 7 to 8 tons.
Similarly, women and youth empowerment is regarded a top priority in the program. Thousands of women and youth were trained on rice and cassava processing. Hajara is one of the successful trainees on rice processing using the false bottom technology.
The day they taught us how we process our rice, we are 3 cooperatives gather here. The first day they taught us with 1 bag. Then the following day we continue on our own. Every week they will come and monitor till we are perfect. They now help us with sack. Then we start bagging. Then they come with new technology, that is cooking stuff. Instead of us to use 500 firewood to parboil 1 bag, we are now using 100 naira firewood with this new cooking stuff.
I am very grateful for this training. Before, as I know they use this first bottle, still some many years that I start this business, no progress. But now, I have seen advantage of the first bottle using and the local cooking rice. So I am very happy for that.
For Hajara, Wabuji and several thousand women and youth trained, it is a new era where improved quality, excellent packaging and accurate measurements are within reach, and it's improving their income. At a time, cassava processors were carrying out homestead processing at the back of their houses without quality control and a hazard to health.
When we came into the community, we discovered that they were doing more of homestead cassava processing at the back of their various homes. And they had a very small processing center which cannot be expanded. We interacted with them, sensitized them about the program, and they were very enthusiastic. And particularly that, apart from being profiled, they've been trained on the need to have improved cassava processing.
VCDP intervened through the construction of rehabilitation of 40 processing centers for cassava and rice in the 6 project states.
We are establishing a cassava and rice processing center here. The buildings you are seeing at the back is for processing cassava into chips, gari and other products. It's planned in such a way that it will be environmentally friendly, and so that the effluent that will come out of cassava will be properly drained and it will be a tidy environment.
Access to land is one of the major challenges facing smallholder farmers, especially youth and women. To address this, VCDP partnered with communities and state governments to lease land to farmers and provide assistance in land development.
Since the arrival of IFAD and the eventual development of land, there's much expansion in my farming. In this development land, We have not less than 300 hectares cleared. This is a new thing entirely in this area. The whole of Zone C, we don't have development land, and that has been one of our major problems. IFAD has just come to lift that clutches from our neck.
Initially, I used to work on 0.5 hectare, 1 hectare, but because of IFAD's presence, now I'm able to work with 3, and then for this year I'm trying to move up to 5 hectares.
One season rice planting was the main practice in the 6 states before VCDP intervention. But consistent flooding occasioned by the rains was a major challenge. Then the program set out plans to establish 2,500 irrigation schemes for the states to promote year-round farming.
And basically the irrigation project, like you know, it will improve their dry season production of rice, which in Nigeria today, we know that dry season production of rice is far more better than rainy season production of rice.
During wet season, we used to get 40 to 50 bags per hectare. But now, when you have absolute control, you have about 100 to 120 bags.
Our farmers were producing about 3.5 metric tons of rice in a hectare before for rainy season. But now they are able to produce up to 5 metric tons per hectare. In dry season, it is even doubling. If you are in dry season, you can find some places that they even have up to 8 to 9 metric tons per hectare, especially in Karimla, in the local government.
Through this model, IFAD was able to push over 56,000 metric tons of rice in Nigeria. That represents about $36 million, which by implication represents an import substitution. The information we got from Taraba State is that with IFAD contribution and injection of the produce, we were able to reduce imports of rice by 4%, which is enormous.
The menace of birds on rice fields often leads to poor harvests. Farmers deployed different bird scare tactics which yielded little or no result until the introduction of synchronized bird scaring equipment. Similarly, farmers were supported with the installation of smart weather climate reader.
If you have the smart climate weather reader, you position it. It will tell you within the next 12 hours, oh, there will be rain. Oh, within the next 12 hours, it's going to be sunny. What is the importance of this? We have discovered that some of our farmers, they will just go and apply fertilizer. As soon as they apply fertilizer, it rains. When it rains, it washes away the fertilizer. The farmer will say, oh, this fertilizer that was given to us is a fake fertilizer. Oh, it's not effective in the farm. To avoid wastage, that's why we decided to introduce that technology in all our clusters.
Despite the increase in rice and cassava in the 6 focal states, farmers had difficulties in marketing their produce. VCDP intervened by fostering linkages between the farmers and private sector off-takers, which buy farmers' produce through a Commodity Alliance Forum, CAF, involving farmer groups, off-takers, financial institutions, impute dealers, and civil society organizations.
Before the VCDP, it is difficult for farmers to get market for their products. But now that the VCDP are around, then this, because it's market driven, there has to be a relationship between the farmers and the off-takers.
Coming of VCDP, we sat down and we discussed about a way out, whereby I gave them a specification. And considering the specification, in fact, it is a win-win situation. That is why a lot of farmers have decided to join the VCDP, and they were making it, and it's a win-win situation.
Formally, we farmers, we are just like a hungry person. The link between us with the off-takers now, we sat down, signed a memorandum of understanding with them. So it's of good advantage. It's advantage in.
Responding to farmers' need for access roads, the program is constructing 30 farm roads, 15 culverts, with a total of 135.5 kilometers in the 6 states.
one of the women that this river claimed was Oto, an Amuzu woman. And that woman left her child on the bed to go and collect cassava on the farm. When coming back home, she was carried away by the water. So now, EFAD has done the bridge and it's just like our floor. We are very, very grateful.
We are doing farm at this place. There is no road. EFAD came and said that we construct road to us.
Then 2016, value chain EFAD come and rescue them and built this road we are seeing today. Transportation of paddy rice to our mill is 1,000 naira. But so far the road is since the part of last year and this year. The conveying of the haulage is very cheap, 200 naira a bag.
The construction of these roads has opened the opportunities for more economic activities. Seeing the impact and quality of the roads constructed by VCDP, some states and community members are committing additional resources to support the ongoing projects. The effective and efficient delivery of all the VCDP components no doubt has transformed the lives of beneficiaries in the IFAD VCDP captured states.
As an entrepreneur, I've been able to employ up to 2. And then there are some situations where you get a lot of people to work on your farm that you pay them daily. So and for those 2, I pay them 10,000 naira.
This is my new house where I started last year. I built it for commercial purposes. It's from the farm where I'll get the money where they build the house.
I'm happy when I'm going on a visitation and I see women who passionately told me that they had problem paying school fees. And because of this intervention, they are now happily offsetting their children's school fees in their various schools, and they are able to take care of their children. That makes me very happy.
The remarkable progress achieved by the program would not have been possible without the consistent payment of counterpart funds and strong political will by governors of the 6 states and the federal government.
I want to use this opportunity to honestly express my thanks to all the governors of the 6 states where we are working. They have accepted this program, the desired political will has been given, and they have paid their counterpart funds.
IFAD Value Chain Development Program continues effective implementation with support from all stakeholders. There are yet more opportunities to transform agriculture in Nigeria and enhance incomes and food security of poor rural households in rice and cassava value chain, especially women and youth.